ends up in court, and who she faced with as a judge, George Bush's cousin, John Walker. Now, that is what we call an abuse of process in the United Kingdom. You can't be faced with the relatives of someone who's implicated in the case as a judge, but, it doesn't seem to matter, and she was fined an awful lot of money. So it's not just the physics and the science of 9/11, it's the way these people are behaving after the fact. Any other police investigation would
Listen,
take all this
Tony,
stuff
I'm going to have to bring it to a stop now. I've just got to do something. Give me 2 minutes, I'll phone you back, yeah, brother. Hold on. I'm just going to... The door's just chapped here. I'll phone you back in 2 minutes, right?
All right, mate.
Hold on.
Be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. No woman, no drive.
From our Lord, Chucky Allah! We all live there. From Crossmaglen, among the bravest islands of our song. In Crossmaglen, the fire burns through. The patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the mods will cry, it will be the voice of man in Crossmaglen. The night you hear. The IRA, the spirit soar, in all the reckoning has come to hand. In Crossmaglen, the fire burns through, the patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the mods will cry, it will be the fighting man from Crossmaglen. Those many scum, they to fear, come there again, see their cursed shore. Because they know they'll pay dear, they're all leaving Ireland's bloody snow. In Crossmaglen, the fire burns through, the patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the mods will cry, it will be the fighting man from Crossmaglen. Here we go! P.I. P.I. P.I.R.A. P.I. P.I. P.I.R.A. In Crossmaglen, the fire burns through, the patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the mods will cry, it will be the fighting man from Crossmaglen. We'll not give up, or will we fucking so afraid, until Ireland's out of British hands. We'll never rest until we see Britannia's rule driven from our hand. In Crossmaglen, the fire burns through, the patriotic flame will never die. And when you hear the mods will cry, don't be the fighting man from Crossmaglen. On your own, in Crossmaglen. Come on, Carrickdale, let's make some noise. What everybody can do better in Crossmaglen. Wow!
No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. Say, I remember when you used to sit in the family car, the back seat. Over me, so safe and well. So so you can make lots and lots of babies. Good friends we've had and good friends we've lost on the highway. In this bright future, you can't forget your past. So put your car key away. No woman, no drive. No woman, no drive. Here, little sister, don't.
Come all you young rebels, enlist while I sing. For the love of one's country is a terrible thing. It banishes fear with the speed of a flame, and it makes us all part of the Patriot's game. My name is O'Hanlon, I've just turned 16. My home is in Monaghan, that's where I was weaned.
Hey, we're back here live and direct. We're going to get a good boy Tony back on here, hold on. Right, a wee bit of family trouble.
Hi, Tommy.
Tony, how you doing? Sorry about that, mate. A wee bit
All
of
right,
family, wee bit of family problems there. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me okay now? Yeah.
Yeah, far away.
Yeah, no, we'll just another 5-10 minutes, mate. I'll be brief then. Yeah. So just in summing up, mate. I don't know what bit we got to, but whatever you want to say, on you go.
Well, I think you sort of asked me, what do we hope for?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's a critical mass, which everyone knows is when when more people know about it than don't, and they can fully understand the implications of the Building 7 problem, which is the free fall. Once they've got their head around that, which is what architects and engineers are really concentrating on, and I think quite rightly so, because that is incontrovertible physics. There is no argument around it. I mean, you'll see people on the internet trying to fudge the issue. But of course, this is why NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, was so reluctant to admit freefall, because they knew the implications of it, and actually denied it for some time. And you have to bear in mind that World Trade Center 7 wasn't even in the original 9/11 Commission report. It was completely ignored. But once you've seen that tower collapse, once you understand the implications of free fall, it doesn't take long to understand that. Just do a little bit of sort of basic physics stuff. It's actually O-level standard physics. Then you can say, right, okay, well, if they've covered up the collapse of that building, or attempted to cover up the collapse of that building, then you can start looking at the towers and all the other events of that day, because World Trade Center 7, 2.25 seconds free fall is incontrovertible evidence of controlled demolition. It's that simple. And anyone who says otherwise is saying that Isaac Newton is wrong. Well, that's impossible. Yeah. Absolutely impossible.
We only have to watch, and there's been many of them coming from Glasgow, the failed experiment of high-rise flats in the last 4, 5, 6 years. We saw high-rise buildings that were put up in the 60s, when the tenements were demolished, and they're pulling these buildings down, and you just have to take any pictures from, Red Road Flats or whatever, any number of these buildings, and just put them straight side by side for any of those 3 buildings that you see collapsing in 9/11, and they're exactly the same. The demolition that's been planted, you just have to see You know, and that you don't even need an O-level. I wasn't even clever enough to get to school to get the O-level, but just looking at two pictures with two buildings falling down, shit, I can look there and say, these buildings were fucking brought down by explosives. You don't need any O-level. I can certainly say I left school with not one, and I know for 100% that these bastards pulled this down, because there's no way. I mean, this is a smoking gun, like you said, because, you know, to blame it on a little guy in a cave who was on a kidney dialysis machine, you know, is stretching the, you know, the term make-believe. You know, it's like Jack and Ori times 10, but then to work out that how he or his crew could get in 3 buildings for weeks on end and plant explosives. So it just takes out the realms of, you know, it's definitely got to be the American government did that. And then when critical mass has been achieved and every single person has got the mindset, shit, it was the American military junta that did that, then we're in a better place. That's a bit where justice will come, because if everybody wakes up and see that we've been shafted, we've been killed, or even killing their own people, then surely we might get a proper revolution where the people can take back what's been stolen. But until critical mass, like you say, has been achieved and everybody can accept it, you know, that these bastards are every bit as guilty and criminal as the Nazis, you know what I mean? Their ability to kill just knows no bounds, you know?
Yeah, I think another thing that people should bear in mind is, and I call it the Father Christmas syndrome. I mean, it's quite natural for people to go in a kind of sort of intellectual paralysis with things like this. The Father Christmas syndrome is so called because if you tell a child, or when you tell a child that Father Christmas doesn't exist, the penny doesn't sink for about a year or 6 months. It's a horrible thing to learn that actually, you know, this kindly old guy isn't really what we've been told, and it's mum and dad. It's the same thing with governments. People hate the idea, innately hate the idea that our government would do something like this to us. But that's easily remedied if you look up things like Operation Northwoods, Operation Gladio, and these have even been covered by the BBC back in the good old days when they were a fairly reputable news company. This is documented, incontrovertible evidence that governments have planned this kind of thing before. Now, with Operation Northwoods, which was tabled in the 60s to JFK by chiefs of staff in the American government, this was a false flag terror campaign across the Guantanamo Bay area of the United States, where they would have mocked-up airliners being blown up, they'd have mock funerals, they'd have all sorts of violence going on across this area, people getting killed, then to be blamed on Cuba. Now, this was totally orchestrated by the United States government. John F. Kennedy said, no, we're not doing it. That is not something I want to be involved with. And, of course, we all know what happened to JFK. And that's freely available on the internet. It was obtained under the Freedom of Information Order by George Washington University. Documented evidence that the American government, elements of, planned to kill their own citizens in a very expensive way, you know, very theatrical, blown up airliners, all this sort of thing, and then blame it on the Cubans. And it says in the documents that we would disseminate this story across the world via the media. Now, if the media were going to be acquiescent in those days, God knows what they are now. Operation Gladio, same thing in Europe. Except these things were actually executed. You know, the Bologna bombing. There's an excellent book by a chap called Daniel Ganser called NATO's Secret Armies. I'd recommend anyone just to spend half an hour on the internet and look up Operation Gladio, because then you will realise this is business as usual for these people. This is business as usual. We all work on war economies in the United States and America, and war is very, very profitable for a small amount of people. It's not very profitable for the poor sods who have to go out and fight it. And come back in boxes and missing limbs, but they don't care about them. And when we're talking about critical mass, Tommy, one of the things that is vital is waking up our police force and our army, because these are the guys who've actually got some sort of power to deal with these criminals. You and I don't have any significant power. We can tell other people about it, and you can do, you know, your radio work, and I can do little films and things like that. But really the guys we've got to convince are the police and the army and the armed forces. Because once they realise they're being screwed, things will change. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I mean, I've been involved with 9/11 Truth now for quite a long time. And the sad matter is that an awful lot of 9/11 Truth, regular sort of public, don't want to go to court. They don't want to approach their police or their army. And And really, we need to be doing more of that, because unless the army and the police are engaged, then we're going to struggle, because they're the people who actually have some real power to do something about it. And you have to bear in mind, 67